This is the introduction to the presentations on Dreams in Space about various topics in science. People often talk about the truth. They talk about truth as if it is something absolute, something definite. And it is, but it's also an elusive thing. It can be hard to pin down. Our existence is fleeting. There is a sense of now, but it only lasts for maybe a second or so. For sure, things happened in the past, but now they are behind us, and therefore we can't be entirely sure about them anymore. This was especially true in times gone by, before there was pen and paper, before books, before digital storage. These days we can be sure about more and more because we record events that happen in our world far more precisely. I don't want to talk too much about how we know something is true, except to say that the scientific approach is that something is true if it is demonstrably true. In other words, if you claim that something is true, you need to demonstrate why it is true by providing evidence. If you want to know more about the scientific method, have a look at the British Humanist clip I've put a link to in the description below. That presentation is very good. There is one argument you hear against science whenever there is a new discovery. It is that everything we know about the universe is wrong. Science is all about figuring out the way things work. Scientific theories tell us how we think things work. There's a difference between the way things work and how we think they work. This is most apparent when new scientific theories come along and challenge the existing ones, or when we discover new evidence that does not fit in with our existing theories. In the case of the latter, it can be difficult to know if the theory is wrong or if the new evidence is defective in some way. In any case, the word wrong has two meanings. It either means absolute right and wrong, or true and false, or it simply means not as good as we'd like. Right now, if you ever hear anyone tell you that science is wrong, it will be because they think our theories are not as good as they'd like, or else it's somebody who just wants you to believe that they're false. The fact is, it has been a very, very long time since any scientifically accepted theory was wrong in an absolute sense. Let me give you an example. Newton's laws of motion accurately predict the motion of the planets in our solar system, except for one of the planets that appears to behave differently. So Newton's laws of motion are wrong in the sense that they do not predict accurately the motion of all the planets. Because of that, scientists continue to look for alternative theories that would predict accurately the motion of all the planets, including the one that didn't fit in Newton's theory. Eventually they found the solution, and Einstein's theory of general relativity can be used to predict accurately the motion of all the planets. That approach of refining our existing scientific theories and ideas continues today. Science can also give weight to philosophical ideas. The prevailing view in science is that our universe began with a Big Bang, and it happened 14 billion years ago. Some of the details of the Big Bang are still being worked out, but there is no doubt that the evidence we have is consistent with the theory. On this basis, it seems that the most likely explanation for the existence of the universe is that it was created from nothing. Maybe it wasn't exactly nothing, but the scientific evidence is telling us that our universe had a beginning, and that there was a time when only energy really existed. Atoms, galaxies, stars, planets, and life all came along much later. The scientific approach is successful, and scientists are now beginning to ask potentially awkward questions, such as why do people have religious beliefs? Why would anyone believe something to be true when they don't have the evidence to support it? I think it's because it's hard to know what is true, and there's no easy way to figure it out. So we all need to have some faith. Faith is not just a religious idea. We all want to believe in things that could be a benefit to our lives. Indeed, scientific discoveries come about in this way too. Before something is known to all of us, somebody had to believe in it first. So it isn't hard to see why people have faith. Religious beliefs are, by definition, beliefs of the supernatural, or beliefs about other realities. They are beliefs that are not demonstrably true. The existence of God, for example, is an idea that is not demonstrably true. It is a simple concept though, and you can see why it is possible to build a faith based upon the idea. However, it's clear to most of us with a scientific mind that God is a question, not an answer. If you're familiar with the work of Douglas Adams, you'll know that the answer to life, the universe and everything is 42. But that's not very useful, unless you know what the question is. Ironically, I get the impression that most religious people do see it that way too. Religious faith is not simply an answer. It's much more than that. It is a journey of faith, a journey towards understanding. If that explains religious faith, then what is science? Well, I'd consider myself to be a scientist, and I would say that science is also a journey towards understanding. If you've also watched the Introduction to Religion clip, you'll be familiar with the point I'm trying to make here. It is that there is a great deal of common ground. We're all human beings first, and we all have the same human needs and desires. I'm going to finish with a few words from a brilliant and visionary man. Isaac Asimov once said, "There is a single light of science. To brighten it anywhere is to brighten it everywhere." So let's try to do that.